Recording in progress.
Yes, I have gone to order this. The Seal and Branding Committee for September 9th, 2025. We'll do a roll call. Usually just the record, but David Lindy. Here. Marshall Davis. Here. Gloria Grace.
Here.
Katie King.
Here.
Philippa Cox. Not here. Cynthia. She's silent. Amber. Louise Miller. Teddy and
Here.
and Kevin Kingsbury. Our newest member, everyone is Katie King. After nationwide search. You're on. Cynthia Conning. Hi, Cynthia.
Nice to have
Is here.
Thank you. I heard a familiar voice.
Come on in, sit
How
down.
many people are in the other room right now?
Oh, do you want me to look? Like the last one up gets the doors.
You sit down. Marshall Davis from his work. All right, let me tell you all a story. When we left last, and so we worked together to make decisions, which then begat other decisions, and begat others. So I'm going to tell you the story, and please try to make sense of it. But oh, Amber. Hey, Amber.
Amber, can you hear us okay?
Hi.
Right.
Right. And welcome. We're just jumped in. So I'm got oh, Louise Miller's here too, town clerk. So when we last met, we had looked at an image of canoeists with High Rock with Charles River. It was last done by the artist Stephen Noble, who lives in Sonoma, California. You guys made a number of revisions to the artwork. And you're all fine. Oh, to a coffee.
Sorry, I'm working on another one of these. Got it in the Zoom.
We have another town city?
Oh.
We know.
So we, you guys made revisions, we presented them to the artist. He had a lot of pushback saying these are significant changes. And he actually said, I want more money too for all these revisions. We argued with him a bit, but said, well, we're gonna talk to the community. So in the meantime, though, we're also looking at the artwork of what he created. I think there was some sense amongst the committee that the quality, the look of what he was doing is not what people seem to be happy with. Some people said it was too, is gloppy a term?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
It just didn't seem to be what we wanted. So we talked, and actually, Topher had actually looked at a Photoshop filter that could create an etching look. So it kind of like, hey, so we thought, let's run this by you as well. And then talking to Stephen Noble again, I said, you know, in the conversation I had with him, the style of work he does is woodcut. And he does many styles, but one of the styles, when he did the seal, our seal based on maybe what we saw previously or the vibe was woodcut. He also does steel engraving. So if you guys look, the term is called steel engraving. That's the law. You guys look at his samples on his website.
What's his name again?
Stephen Noble, like the gas.
Of which there are more than just one.
That's the famous term. So he does this look called steel engraving as well. If you look at his site, I think when we saw them, many people think like, we like that, we like that. Case in point, he does he just did the Yuling Brewery label. And it's like, it's awesome look, it's great, clean, line, high detail. And has sort of the period, a feel of history-ish. So we said, you know, how much would it be to do this as steel engraving? and how much of revisions versus corrections. And I think at a point, any numbers, please?
He was saying that it was gonna cost an additional $3,500.
Right.
What do we pay him in the first place? I mean, what is that?
The initial was,
It's hard to know how relative that
Right.
is.
Yeah, initially it was $3,500 and then some revisions that he said fell outside of the scope of his agreement were an additional $350.
no, was it 1,200?
No, that's what he originally said back in August when we asked him to make some tweaks.
Right.
He said 1,250 and now it's gone up to 3,500 because of the steel cut.
Perhaps if we do steel, you should know, we haven't pulled the trigger on any of this. That's why you're here. Because I don't want to move without understanding where we're at. Does this sound good?
Mhm.
Okay,
Are there any other options?
yes. One is we could put Mr. Noble out to pasture and say, thank you, we won't take you up on your we won't take you on any corrections or the revised steel engraving. What we did get from him is actually a couple of rounds in which we saw what we didn't want. Which in the process
So
like
we
this,
do owe him some money,
no, we don't know anything.
Already
We're
paid
square.
him.
but we paid him.
Yeah, we're square.
What was the total budget for it? Because we also had the original, I forget his name, but.
Yes.
Frankie.
Yeah,
Mark,
Mark
we have expended our budget.
we expended our budget. So how does it work in terms of if you spend more than your budget? Is
Right.
there another fund from which?
There
it
was
can
never
be?
another fund.
We have not,
You
we have
mind
not
if
talked
I-
about a
You
financing
mind if I take a
strategy.
pass at it? Like I
No,
did with
actually-
the engraving?
Well, hold on with that.
Okay.
That's one option, right?
Right. But I think ultimately I kind of wonder is we have an image by consensus that the committee
You want me to
seemed.
pull that up?
Yeah, that seemed to like, this is what we gave Steve Noble and what he created initially. We made revisions to it. I think the revisions would be helpful. So this is kind of basically where we last left off. We had a problem with the tree in the middle. The canoeists wanted to be bigger, the clouds and the reflection of the water looked like whiteout.
Whiteout, yeah.
So that's where we're at. And revisions to this would be X number.
Well, revisions to this style would be 1,250, but to go to the steel cut that you
Right.
discussed with him was going to be 3,500.
Now. The 3,500. Would include, well, our revisions, we would give him a very highly revised, he'd build off of this. So do the math, but it's not complete, it's like he's basically working right where you want. The problem is, there is no budget to revisions after. It's not like he has to strike gold
That's it.
and we're done.
Right.
But he's not giving you like 3 even?
No, we don't understand how he works, like you say. he does something,
Usually you present,
Right,
you get your revisions. You present again.
I know.
One more time, you can revise, and then the third one is,
I
that's
think
it.
it gets tougher though, because when I've done etching and woodcut and there's kind of no going, you don't fill it in once you get going.
Right, once you get going,
It's there.
right,
So
right.
like if he does this and we don't like that style of cloud, and he etched it into steel,
It's
we're
there.
liking this.
He didn't do nothing.
Well, yeah, this is all still him, just kind of, that's why I keep thinking when he's mucking around with this doesn't quite seem like his style, like it'll be better when he actually starts doing it, but I get a
Oh, you
little
think he's gonna
nervous.
really cut it?
So.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I
it's gonna
thought
be-
so too, but I don't think.
No,
so.
it's a computer file.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know that's computer, I thought his end game. would
That's
be-
what we thought, that's what was presented to
Yeah.
us, but I don't think that.
That he was actually going to physically engrave it once we decided.
Like,
Or
pen
John.
ink and everything.
Yeah, well, actually, I think the technique is he cuts into clay or wood.
I mean, I can put that on lid if you want.
Well, hold off on that, because I just want to see
Right.
what we might do, but
A laser.
Yeah, but there's been a history of us saying it's too wide or there's looks like a golf course or whatever, and.
Yes.
And something comes back that then it just doesn't seem like we're
Communicate.
working too well with, we want more of this and then. We get some of that, but then something, I just,
Right.
it's just, it's frustrating, but you guys have more experience with doing that kind of
Right.
back and forth.
Some
As
of
to
this,
whether that feels doable or not, I can't really say.
But there's some things like, the water shouldn't be linear, it should be a little wavy that it seems like we've been talking about for a long time and the change hasn't been made.
Right.
So,
no, I get
there's
this.
a change to pay, what are the changes that are sort of righteously charged and the ones that should have been done already that we don't want to pay additional for?
Right.
I don't, it seems.
Yeah.
There's a mix of stuff going on.
Cause it seems like when we say, oh, move the canoeist over, make it a little bigger, he's just in Photoshop, just. Grabs that, makes it a little bigger.
For drafting, that's fine, but.
So
Yeah.
I still think, which is what I said last time, the time for, I still think we need to let people know that we're doing this before we move
Thank you.
much more forward.
So,
And I know Kate was gonna write a letter, and I did mention it to Kate, and obviously she didn't get.
She still agreed to write it up for us,
okay.
so.
So, right, because thank you, that like segue into the next thing. We don't have a budget to do revisions with Steve Noble if we don't have something to present. Like I could say, I get that, we could kind of show this, but this is not where we want it.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna go to Steve Noble and say, get us something great, then show it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
one option
Mhm.
is, do we get the composite photo, like that has high rockets, this kind of?
I just,
Let it be
I
a
just
filter.
sent a new one.
Okay.
To-
And do we use that? And then when we're ready to pull the trigger, do we say to go and get not Steve Noble, but someone else?
And then my other concern is practicality of the seal.
Yes.
And I just, it was
I just
right
went
by
through
my
it.
office and, we worked on practicality.
Meaning this is too detailed, or,
You've gotta be able to see it and to identify what it is. You gotta be able to press it and identify what it is.
Right.
So
It can't
there,
just look
to
like
me,
a
this
bunch
looks
of
like
lines.
a lot of,
Yeah,
that a lot of that detail will
yeah.
get lost.
it has to stand up in some way.
You have to have something
Yeah,
that you
some
can
of
see.
his, I was
Yeah.
looking at his website and some of his, engravings.
That's why I was there, but I don't have it everywhere.
Like I did the Kraken one, for example, they did for Kraken rum is, it's very clean.
Right.
But if you look
Yeah.
at some of
Yeah,
these others,
You can still see that.
Oh, one conversation, let's have one conversation.
sort of his
Yeah.
Gloria?
flagship one,
Right,
that's never gonna resolve into a seal.
no, and
That's-
that's a stock certificate too.
Yeah, but that's like the one
Yeah,
that's his upfront for all of his seal engraving site.
so
pages.
it should like. I think there's consensus amongst the group about the elements in that. How it's executed is a problem. Is this correct?
I'm not in consensus.
Good to know.
I still feel that there are things in the old seal that should be retained
Okay.
as part of our history.
And I think that is one of the questions, and
People
what are
don't
we, what is it that we want our seal to convey?
Right.
And that was,
So one is, it's, I think we were thinking. That. And Big Elm was this is the the original seal as a landscape, which had High Rock, the Charles River, and everything like that. Well, we did take, and a person, which I always call Nahoyden, because in the canoe, but not a Mashun, because. That's a nod to, people don't know the Mashuns that get a canoe. We don't have perhaps the English settlers, Kingsbury's. But in a weird way, that was the transaction date of like, we're taking your land. So that's why that became very problematic. And I think it's not that William Nahoyden was not without agency. He knew what he was doing. At the end of the day, it is sort of. It's the.
hard.
It's
April 14th.
14?
13.
13.
It's a hard story to tell because
It is the day they say like, we're taking your land and you're gonna sign this in. Thank you very much. So it is sort of. It's a day of sort of imperialism, colonialism, and whatnot. So it's a hard, it's not something like, you wanna tell this medium school kids like, this is a great day of history. But we like the Charles River.
We've been telling this what actually happened.
Yes, right. And you're right. That's, I mean, you should always study the history, the hard and the ugly of it too.
but you've got a little tiny image in which to do it.
But in the
And a lot
seal,
of
like,
people
in the
see it
seal,
and
I think we're
interpret it.
celebrating. And the seal is sort of like, yay, this is great. Look at our, and by the way, technically, it was dead and was found, not mediums. Because it was 1688. So,
Wrong date.
so it's sort of like, yeah, we love Dedham too, but.
Glad to hear that.
Uh, But
So I think the story in the initial seal was, I always had a problem of, like, some history stuff. But I was willing to hope that there could be something like, I didn't want to lose the Native American identity that was represented.
Right.
I think here we save it a bit, or nod to it. But it is basically
it's
the,
not the same story.
it's not, we're not doing the
Yeah,
story,
not
we're
doing
not doing
the
the story.
We're not doing a story.
But we,
It's okay.
no, I think it's no, but this is part of the conversation that we have to have. I think, because we're gonna have this across the town when we trot this out. So,
Yeah, what is the story?
But-
Evidently Katie had that in mind. I mean, Kate had that in mind. What the story, what she
Right.
was gonna write, concept, whatever it was called, and that's. If we don't have agreement on that, it will be hard to do a final, like, this is okay.
It's no longer a narrative.
no, it's
And
not.
the original one was essentially narrative. This is more a representation of an aspect of our past that we think is important to
But-
maintain.
I would also say it's actually very current. I mean, that's the Charles River.
Yeah.
Granted, High Rock does not exist along the Charles River. That's artistic
It
license.
certainly doesn't.
But that is, actually is High Rock from a good postcard.
That's actually good. That's a decent picture, Howard. Yeah.
Except the scale is.
No, it is actually,
Trees were smaller in those days.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe it's the Sheridan.
Yeah, it has much time to grow.
Or it's supposed to come as-
But it seems like we're kind of in a weird position because you can't get the additional funding. You can't request the additional funding without having a product to show, but if you go out with this.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of the same comments that we've already had. You're gonna have, it's gonna be difficult for people to envision. It's like saying like this, but not like this.
Yeah.
Or, how do you?
But how many people would say that though? I think we're nitpicking the style. I mean, I know if you
I
put
think
it out
They
there-
will.
Well, I think what'll happen is similar to what happened with the library, they had a design and then it got a new architect and. Well, this isn't what you said we were getting. Even though we said this isn't what you're getting. They said, well, this isn't what you said we were getting, and if, it comes back different. They said, well, that's not what you said, people will have a hard time visualizing the changes, the proposed changes.
But
We
if
can't
we
make
don't
the-
talk
we
to
can't make the
anyone
proposed
right now,
changes.
what will happen is
Yeah,
this teeny little group here will make a decision that's a consensus decision. That, different people agree or disagree with various parts of it.
Right.
And then everybody's gonna say, well, we didn't know you were doing this, and maybe we don't agree with where your consensus landed. We think it should have been over here. So I think before we do anything else, we really need to open it up, publicize, like, get some feedback. That's my own. I also think like the letters are just too thin for me.
Well, the
Okay,
letters
yes,
can be
yes.
anything.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like the whole thing, it looks like too flimsy.
Okay,
It's a seal.
but I think you have to be prepared then for a messy process, because.
But I think that that's okay.
Like I said, we're talking to somebody about it, said, well, why can't you add a woman? I said, oh, please don't go there. It's like. We've already got a narrative that we've altered into another narrative that we've altered into another. It's like,
Yeah.
you're now asking for like this whole other element, it's, you know, it doesn't work like that.
No one's gonna be.
Well, do we have to explain why we're moving away from? Well, yeah, you know, it's just
Absolutely.
a-
Has to be in
yeah,
writing.
Absolutely.
You know, however, I mean, that's
why the
That's
letter
correct.
has to
I
be
think
drafted.
coming off of that is probably more critical than even where we go.
Right,
Okay.
Because that happened with the logo, you know, they said this is not a seal, it's not the town seal, this is a logo, it's for different purpose. Well, I don't see what was wrong with the other seal, you know, it's
Right.
not. People did not, you know, sort of assimilate all the details right away that we've been. Talking about
So,
in plus
right,
years.
so we have to float something. I'm not sure we should float. I like the composite. I'm not sure this is where I wanna end up.
Right.
Stylistically, I wish we could do a cleaner look. I wish a canoeist was bigger, but we're kind of at a point where we can't be doing drafts because we can't afford to get the drafts.
Yeah, and the drafts didn't seem to go in the directions we wanted them to go.
Right.
so.
You saw that check.
Well, that's what I don't know if that's right.
Is that,
What's this?
So he said what, and I said, that's what I've been doing
Okay,
for the past week. So
yes,
the one I just sent you
do you have that?
is bigger. It's, the waves are there and all that, and he's kind of looking back, which you could say is kind of looking back into history or something like that, paddling forward, looking back. I brought the tip of the canoe down, so it looks more
Okay.
northeastern. I guess. you could
Right, I
say.
know what you-
Yeah,
Well, Amy's finding that, I think too, if we frame this when we put it out to the community, I'd be interested in asking very clear questions about feedback about the concept versus about the art and the
Right.
design.
Yeah.
And just
Okay.
prompt people so that
Right.
we can make a distinction about
that'll
if
work.
it's about the artwork.
Right,
or
no,
if it's
right,
about the
right.
concept itself, then.
I think they should have more color.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. yeah, one is the concept, the other is the implementation.
Yeah, I could also write a creative brief. The seal must, Joyce's point, you know, or
Please.
right.
you know, so, you know, it's gotta be legible, it's gotta be, it can't have too much detail, you know, just.
Now, Stephen Noble said he was making two versions, one in Portland, but he understands it's gonna be like,
That,
Yep, that's the one I just did. And then I also have it with a circle, and if you wanna see. That's kind of a circle, but I just put a circle around it blocking the rest.
I like that you can tell it's a
Well-
native.
Right. And I mean, you can still see on the canoe there that it's not totally straight, cause I literally
Yeah.
just pushed it down and then I was like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
falling.
it feels old, it feels familiar but old also.
You have the
Yeah, and I
reflection
like the
too on
reflection. It
water.
looks natural. It's not very, like the other one was just very drawn out. This doesn't have that.
It could really look like that if you were out there.
Yeah.
this is a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Make it less detailed.
It's too dense.
Yeah, cause when you do it like that. It's
Yeah.
not just my eyes, yeah.
But he's showing us what you can do
Yeah.
with the image, that we did not see that
Mm.
kind of responsiveness
Yeah.
as David was.
I mean, and at this, I
Would be-
mean, if you wanted it
Right,
bigger, I
that's-
could make it bigger, you know.
I-
I've never seen anyone sitting in
He's just a step.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely,
canoes always, it's a good sport.
Really?
Yeah,
yeah, totally.
yeah, you actually do.
Sitting sideways or he's wrong?
That's why he's got great
I know,
abs.
well, you paddle,
Paddle.
you can paddle, okay?
Can you come back to tell her a little bit?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, I
Most
did.
of canoeing happens sideways.
And
So, like,
besides,
if I
there's a
want-
fish back there.
Differently.
You picked your legs wrong, that's the problem.
Pardon
You picked your legs wrong.
I still remember in January, the first year we were together, that Kate came up with a list of things.
We
It
wanted
was
to-
kind of like concepts
Yeah,
of what we wanted to have, that I thought was a really good thing to go back to.
So. The other one.
okay. Do you have another version?
Well, I sent them all to you guys.
Yeah, do it.
Where,
This is they did a version where
where
it
you
was,
can't rip the person in the canoe or kayak,
Yes.
The kayak, because it's more flat than a canoe, is ambiguous, right? So you could be like, it's a woman, it's a guy, it's somewhere in between, it's, you know, Nahoton, it's Oliver Cromwell, you know, like you can't even tell. But to the point, like,
Notes be sent to all members of the committee.
yeah.
Amy, can we send those?
Are we talking about these, but this is totally different.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Right, so then I didn't realize that we were gonna keep them on the side.
yeah.
But that's obviously something, I put them in the center there. And then there's one without anybody, which is the one above that,
Right. I
Which-
don't think we wanted to go there.
just be like, it's
Yeah.
the Charles River, it circles Needham.
I think
At least
you
it
need
used to,
an
it was
element
overdrawn.
of some of a person to
Yeah.
scale
Yes.
and
So basically what I did is I took that, the blank one, and then I put different canoeists in it. And the last one I put in was the guy looking backwards with the reflection on the water.
did you want that composite photo with a more like steel cut
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
version?
yeah.
Alright. So that might eagle off that one. So let's go around this. Amber, what do you think? Thoughts? Random and?
So-
Oh, can you have a look at the other versions?
Yeah, can we see it as a seal?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, hold on.
I mean, I'm obviously gonna be all in favor for the one that has more of the native component on it. The first one was that we just looked at that Mr. Noble did, definitely a
Yeah.
little underwhelming. I'm
Okay,
maybe trying to be polite about it, but
alright, this
So-
was also.
This one,
I'm sorry,
pull
Amber, sorry.
forward,
This is.
more abs. Or, yes. It's a little, I thought it was a little cartoonish, but you know. it's
yeah,
just- it's
he
placement and
almost
all
looks
that
a
kind of
little
stuff.
Neanderthalish.
Exactly, I feel the same,
Yeah.
but it was just the idea. I'm
Yep.
just, cause these are just thrown, you know, they're pretty much for composition and style,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yep.
There's a person, it's in the canoe. And his hands are the size of baseball gloves. It's a little ridiculous, but you get the idea. He's going
Yeah.
straight forward. High rocks in the back.
Right.
The future's in the front. The other ones were the kayakers in the middle in the white reflection.
Mhm.
And it's more centered with like, so you're going straight. And then the last one, which I think you just saw, it's a different native canoer and he's
Mhm.
going backwards. I mean, he's looking backwards, going forward, and the tip of I don't think there's probably a name for it, but the point on top is flattened, so it's a little bit more. The bow, right, but it's also one in the stern.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was like, that's the horizontal one, that's not. in the-
It's just horizontal,
I think
right?
that's
And
like
then
more
I left it like that so that you can see where the circle you want it to be. Do you want them on the side? Do you want them balanced with the mountain the way that one is?
No. That's not more.
Well, but you see, so then the mountain's
Yeah.
to the left and he's to the right, which makes it balanced.
Yeah.
You could put the mountain in the center and then he's off the side, which makes it unbalanced.
Do you have,
Or at
Yeah.
least we have the horizon line as kind of in the center.
do you have the second one as well, or?
Amy, what's the other, what's the?
which one are you referring to?
He's
The
going back.
reflection seems so so
You had a row-
dominant
you had
there.
a
Maybe
row
it
of
could
them
be a
on
little
screen
less.
that were.
Yeah, but they were with like somebody with like a fishing hat and they were facing the opposite
Yes,
direction.
exactly, but it's just, again, it's not a final thing, it's just to show
But
placement.
isn't it the same thing that we just looked at, but it's just a different
It's a
canoeist?
different scale though, it's a
Yeah.
different.
Alright, I have to,
I just underlined the things that I thought were important to know, because the other things we've dealt with.
And I would definitely, if I was to do it again, that the composite image that was sent was very, very low resolution,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
like really hard to work with. But not the image.
that one?
Yeah, so he's in the middle there. That's a single paddle canoe. There's also one with a double paddle canoe. Again, you know, you could put anybody there, but it's all centered. There's also no High Rock there. But guess what? There is no High Rock there. So, but it's a little less muddy, I think, you know?
Yeah, I,
Cause it's more light than dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to make it distinctive of Needham,
Yeah,
we
You
got
can put
rid
it
of the
there.
TPs and some of the things that were inaccurate, but having
Yeah.
High Rock makes it not just.
I mean, it's
any-
very easy to put that in. Yeah, I could put that in.
Yeah, no, I have problems with that boat. I have problems, it's paddling away. There's been a lot of talk about not having the person paddle away from the viewer, paddle in.
Right.
Yeah.
So
think
I
that's
was not aware of
more
that because
helpful.
that paddler, that person is from the original photograph.
Yes, so, yeah.
Right, so I didn't know that we were going to, yeah, it's Mark. I didn't realize that we were going to that fuzzy one.
Yeah,
It looks more like a kayak.
That's why I
too.
just worked on that one.
okay. All right, yeah,
So
so,
I could actually put the new guy in that one, in that spot, if you wanted, it'd be extremely prominent.
Right.
Very show.
but if you went back to the.
You can even see
horizontal
there's
one-
artifacts from different layers on that one.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, that's very centered, and I think your other one looked more like a Charles River, like, I saw the river banks going
Which one, the horizontal?
horizontal one.
Yeah, well, of course you're going to, but at some point you gotta make it a circle, right? So you
Yeah.
gotta decide where it's gonna crop.
That's fine,
When you say the horizontal one, do
Um,
you mean with not in?
yeah,
the
not in
middle?
the circle.
Alright.
Oh, the first one you showed us.
First, yeah. We're all waiting on you.
Yeah, I'm
All
like,
eyes are on.
oh, God. It's like 17 different versions of this. true.
So it would be the one that came in at 4 o'clock. Oh, it's 3:58. Look, you get into this dome, you don't even
Yeah.
realize what time it is.
This,
No, yeah, wait a minute, right.
So there is similar, so that, yeah,
All right,
And the reflection doesn't feel like it takes over the whole thing the way it did in the circle.
And the reflection of
I
the
can
canoe
suit
is
him
a
wherever
nice
we want.
feature.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
He's actually a separate layer.
Yeah.
So it can go anywhere. He's not married to that layer.
okay,
To that position. So it can go under, it can come forward, it can get bigger, it can get smaller. All depending on where the,
Yeah.
the circle is.
so you wanna be, when you see it as a tiny seal, you wanna know that there's a figure there. I mean,
right,
there's a canoe
Yeah,
and a
you'd
figure.
have to lighten up the reflections on the side.
In the trees and
Yeah,
such, yeah.
yeah.
yeah, because that will gum, so as things are reduced, they gum up even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
But even a photograph, if we went with the pure photograph of the trees,
right,
that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
one thing was, I was talking to Steve Noble about, was like, yes, I get it has to be a $50 size, but possibly these will be on the glass
Mhm.
wall, and it's like, this could be 18 inches too.
mhm.
So
Mhm.
he's like, yeah, we could do, there'd be two versions, one, sort of stripped out for embossing. But then another one could have more detail that could be carried on the large glass wall.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind. No,
No, I'm just moving it around.
Or for Louise, there could be, let's say we had this,
Mhm.
I could still run this through, like, let's say we had the final one, I could run it through like an AI filter and just ask it. It needs to clean, I could give it some commands
Yeah.
and get there a little bit more so it works on the seal. That could be, the seal could be a little bit different. Because a lot of times, like. I don't know how this is gonna like. You're gonna emboss that and get that to work, there's just not enough.
There's nothing there, right,
room
it's just gonna
room
be
for
a
it to
big
grab.
blob
It'll
of-
just-
I mean,
it'll
that's-
be flat.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I was doing with these, it's like, oh,
and there's no.
more water, more thing, right, that's exactly what it
It's
is.
hard to open
Yeah,
that
yeah,
up,
yeah.
just get, and,
Yeah,
But I think you need to take away like all the for the seal, take away like all the reflection on the river. and
yeah, it
stuff
would
like
be,
that.
more outline.
I don't say more, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be cartoony, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing where I
Right.
like Steve at first to say, well, if it's a woodcut. It's usually like, it's a little bit deeper and there's whiter whites and there's more black, and if you get into etching, then they get, like Gloria was showing. It's like cross hatching, like we don't want cross hatching, that's gonna It looks nice, but
Yeah, I mean, but like on this one, you could see that I didn't include the reflection of High Rock. It should be there, right? So it's
but no,
easy, hold on, so it should be. It's easy to do with the trees as well. If you don't want the trees, right, it might look a little odd, but that's okay. If you want it to be, you want white lines across the whole river, that's not a problem at all.
So, but when you put a seal on a document, so right now, that map, right, that's a pretty big size deal. On a letter, it's going to be smaller than that,
Mhm.
and you don't want it just like a black blob in the middle.
Right.
Right, that's what we're saying, is
But
that
it will
we'll clean
look
it up.
in the,
And also remember, it's never gonna be this large, right? So we're looking at that big black
Right.
blob on the side. That's not included in it, right?
It's hard to,
Cause the circle will cut that.
Because the circle will cut that. I actually did do it while I was sitting here, Matt, if you're doing it.
if you squint at it, look at you, it looks like a black butterfly.
Right.
and that's
Hold on, let me do
The
it.
overall the arch and arch.
So let's see, do that.
but if the sun's coming from behind us, we wouldn't see the reflection of High Rock.
We're not gonna see that.
Or if it's far enough away, yeah, it's just another element that's gonna add,
yeah, I can think in
It's
my
okay.
mind, it's far enough away that.
that's not, yeah.
Maybe it's a vampire mountain.
Right?
You know,
I can make High Rock smaller.
Yeah, a little smaller, that looks like more Carroll Hill or whatever, the mountain that's in Carroll Park. And,
Oh, yeah, right,
You
yeah,
go-
yeah.
Small way over
I
there.
don't need that in Dover.
It's over.
Wrong deed,
Smaller, it
goodness.
looks like a tree.
Smaller still.
And but
No,
High Rock looks like
Yeah.
it does not look like High Rock because it has a slightly flatter top.
I don't really like the way it's done there, but, so like that, right?
Depending on the
On-
side. you
It's
climb.
there's a lot less black. Please don't look at the black that's surrounding it and telling me there's more black. As will happen if we put it out for a survey. But, there's less black and more white in the actual circle.
I think that's too much white.
No, because.
So I
if
think
you-
that's what we're gonna have trouble.
Yeah.
Is
because
that
if
it's either
you're
gonna be,
putting a
instructions are gonna be
seal-
too black or too white.
Well,
But for the seal, it works
Separate
better.
design, you know, a different design for the seal, I mean, the
Well,
same
that is what it
elements.
is.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
same
it was real.
elements, but.
Well, right, but even on letterhead, I
Or-
think you
So like
want
that's how
enough white,
big it is. and you
right,
can-
because you have to be able to
Whoops, we
identify,
lost it.
And you
Yeah.
can still, it's not as muddy
right,
there,
right.
because it's
Right.
mostly white and not mostly.
Right.
Even if the,
It's
So
how
it balances with the sky, kind of.
yes,
I hate to, yeah, and the riverbank probably has to be lightened up.
yeah,
So
Or you
that
can
you
tell that
see,
it's a-
because right now it's like reflection, which is kind of what happened in the photograph, the source photos.
Yeah.
Which is a cool effect on the river. It's like.
But
you
then
said,
we have to transfer what you see in the photo to what will stand out.
Okay, so that'll be not one discussion, but moving forward. Do you guys want to, we're putting Steve Noble on ice for a bit?
On gas.
Can I just make a suggestion about money and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Needham is filled with artists, and the fact that we have reached out to outside artists. I think is a real problem. And I was happy when we were able to do a date and he came up with a brilliant thing. I'm working on this now. I'm not saying I need $3,500. I work in a building filled with artists. I think
I have
anybody.
I have a tribe full of artists.
I think anybody in Needham or in Natick would be proud to be a part of this and be like, I did that.
well, especially if we get to the execution part.
Yeah. Can we come back to what,
We can still get.
But what I'm saying is,
Okay,
we could continue to throw money into somebody who lives in Florida or wherever, Steve
Can I
Noble,
ask a question to
California.
clarify? What are we asking an artist to actually do? So if this
Well,
is.
that might be one of the
So
problems.
that's, I
Yeah.
think we need to get clarity on that.
And I will say, like, I'm sure he came back to you with the $3,500. I don't know how the discussions with him have been going. But like, oh, you know, like, oh, do this, oh, no, we want it to look like this, or, oh, there's too much black, oh, there's too much white. He's like, whatever, 3,500, 5,000, keep it coming, because I see where this is going. Right, it's gonna be a lot of revisions, it's gonna go out to people, there's gonna be more revisions, he knows what this is about.
So
okay,
we're not a normal client,
Right.
also, we're government, so we have to scope the work, see what the scope is, I believe that's what we did up front. Originally, we completed that scope. So when we decide if we are ready to go to a different artist, we have to set the scope and ask them what they would charge us for that. so
Well,
that
that's what I'm
we-
saying, is 0.0.
Right.
Nothing. Charge nothing. Say, look, you wanna be a part of reinventing the Needham Town Seal?
Well, yeah, but I get that.
I
Okay.
mean, there are plenty of
but-
towns that
but-
they'll actually run a contest or something for the community. And they'll have, people submit design ideas. I'm not saying that you have to choose one, but it is a good way to get people involved and engaged and then plus ideas. But I do think that this far along that we are, it would be like starting over.
Recreating.
I think
down
what
that road.
I'm sensing consensus at least on what we have thus far. So the issue is execution.
Yes.
I get the idea, that'd be great, like there might be people who do it for pennies. But there's also something that you pay an artist what they should be paid. And, the fact that you can kind of screw them out of money is sort of like, I think you. Like, yeah, you're right, it's a big.
Or
feather
you
to
can
cap.
screw the Needham taxpayers,
Well.
which I am one.
I
Hey,
know, but- well,
somebody
no
came
one's
up with the
doing
term
anyone.
starving artist. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
Kevin, we ask Amber to say some more about what she thinks an indigenous artist from their tribe might be able to do, because they already have given us, there's several times they've given us gratis sketches that were
Right.
useful along the way to figuring out what we wanted or didn't want. And I did say to somebody is, you have to, government scope and all that, you can't just, somebody comes up with something that's a good idea, you can't just pay them, or maybe there is a way. At any rate, I think since I have the wonderful opportunity of being with a number of the people in the tribe, and Amber is Autumn Sun is our representative. I think it's important to bring that up right now and not a couple months from now, say, well, we should have done this or that.
So what would it look like if I took this, because I think this has good bones, and showed this to my niece who does the sketches and is degreed in art and has plenty of visual representations around the state of artwork that she's done, and asked her if she could not fix it, but what would this look like to her? And see what she does to it.
I don't know. What's sort of like, this is sort of, that's
Not Xing out, but maybe she'll have some feedback or input that we can use to better get this right. Like maybe we're just,
But we don't know what's wrong with this.
Yeah, that's what.
That's the problem.
Mean by what's
Like, when I did this,
yeah,
I was, make this picture look like a woodcut etching with high rock, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little dark, okay, I get that. But so that's the instructions followed exactly. So we have to figure out what's different. Okay, you want the sides lighter? Okay, 2 seconds, very easy to do.
Mhm.
We have to go to somebody and say, here's this. What's wrong? We have to tell them what's wrong with this. And until that, I don't think it can go
Well,
anywhere.
I was hoping Stephen would say, well, something like this, well, I'll make the shore come out a little bit, I'll open up the sky and I'll do, like, that's
yeah,
where.
not necessarily what's wrong with it, but what needs to be tweaked on it, what can look better, what can be more enhanced. Are we missing something? If we didn't know this was Needham, how else other than Hierarch do we know this is Needham?
Well, it's the same with the current seal. There's no way to know it's needed.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe ask for a clarifying question. I think what I was hearing earlier in the conversation though was that we didn't want this group to keep tweaking. We wanted to get a
Focus.
version that we're comfortable enough that it
Okay.
conveys the concept.
Yes,
So I guess I'm wondering, like, is the decision before us, like, do we currently have a version that is conceptually close enough that we feel comfortable putting it back?
I mean, I almost feel something like this, with the narrative saying we're gonna move away from the seal for these reasons. And part of the narrative I always thought this would be for me is, well, at 1711, that's when we pass papers type of thing. And what we're doing is we're just turning back the clock a little bit, like before the settlers got there, and here's
Right.
the natural beauty of Needham. And again, that feels kind of skidding very light, that's Needham, because it's, I just feel like it loses. Not so much the personality from the original, it just loses the personality of Needham, because this could be name your town.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, the only way I would think to use the Charles River, making it, okay, this is Needham, is to put the bridge, which would then echo,
More for,
no pun intended to echo bridge, but echo the town logo that has the
Right,
loop, and then it also has it, you know, those are also echoed in the windows that are in our town hall, where you have the bridge that is the passage into Needham that has the arches. But that would take away from 1711.
1711 was the incorporated.
incorporation,
Right.
from Dedham. yeah,
Irregardless.
So this, right,
Or
not
there before.
1688.
Not even, right.
But it's also, I think it's also tough to say.
It wasn't there,
Let's represent something from 1711. What was going on in 1711? Like,
good times.
Would it be crazy to cut out a few of these?
No,
So that
it is good.
people,
No,
Yeah,
Right.
actually.
but so that people, so that we're not saying we have the one, we conceptually, I feel like I'm brand new to this. To
No,
me, there's clarity on concept, but not on art.
Right.
Is how I'm feeling as we're flipping through these.
uh-huh,
I think if it gets up into the public, the current seal has to be there. There has to be whatever the narrative is. Why did the select board even put this committee
Right.
together?
and it has a
Yeah.
lot of this
Right?
is in this.
yes, absolutely,
you're the
everyone
one
needs to know, like, this
who
is what
started,
the mission
right.
is. And why we're doing this, and
Right.
so then we can, old original, existing seal with proposed seal,
With proposed concept,
yeah.
Yeah,
Proposed concept.
concept.
Right.
And then,
If you do several versions, we found this with the logo, people actually got mad, like, you only gave us two choices, why don't you give us a third, or we gave
The
three.
choices were
or
color,
they
were color.
It's all
came up with their
colors.
own.
It was
Yeah.
color,
third
not
or fourth. That
design.
happened in Wayland.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
were given multiple choice and then they came up with a third, a third, a third, and here, we really like this as an alternative to everything that you've done.
Right.
And so you're like, well, now what do we do? So they gave us.
And I think hasn't the Observer done a couple of articles
No,
on
that's
this
how,
showing?
that's how
Yes.
that works.
So that it, I mean,
Yeah,
Or
people
they
in the
have-
town know that this is in process and
Well,
that they've
I mean,
seen,
Well,
some-
trying
they've
to
seen some
go.
versions.
It's
They've seen
not
some
an
versions
official-
of it.
the seal of
So-
Massachusetts is in this right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
they-
and
they
they
have
went
gone
through a long
yes,
process
yeah,
and couldn't agree.
Yeah,
I don't think any of us entered into this, knowing,
Yeah.
thinking that it was
Kevin,
gonna be an
could we-
easy process.
Could we at least have a chance to get some feedback? We're not saying a huge massive thing, but a feedback from one of the indigenous artists. And they may say, yeah, this is probably the best it's gonna be, or you, just one more voice coming in beyond this group before we then do the concept and send out one or two designs.
I mean, I don't think execution's gonna. This execution, I think, shows enough of what we're trying to do. We're moving from this seal to now we're doing something on water with, you can say it's High Rock and sort of say in here. And people gonna love it or hate it, and why are they gonna love it or hate it, that type of thing. I mean, I like, my biggest feedback on just this concept was, I think it's gotta be an indigenous person versus Joe Schmo in a kayak.
Right.
Cause then you're like, what are we doing here? It's like, it feels like we're not like a water community, or, you know, we're not.
Right.
Right.
If we were on, if we were on Lake Needham, that would be great, type of thing, but to explain kind of where it is, and then even there, you have to have this back narrative of why we came here. And I think most people don't understand, just, I mean, I think the narrative, well-written one will take us off from here, but then it's like, well, where do we go from here?
okay.
Just to throw another wrench into it, when I was making this, I did have the thought of putting two folks in that canoe. One being the settler, one being the native guy. And that way they're working together towards something.
Yeah, we went back and forth between how much we want the history and how much we want to project of what we hope things will be.
Right, like, kind of like, oh, look, here they are, they could be circling Needham saying, we're gonna take all this away from you, or they could be saying, let's go to dinner together, or whatever.
Right, and by the way, there is a power dynamic there.
Well,
Person
that's
in
the other
back
thing,
is this person steering,
right,
the person in the front is powering it. And
Well, that's,
and if you put the Native American in the back, they are taking, I'll take you to where you wanna go.
how did you get in my head at 10 in the night while I'm thinking about that? I'm like, do I put in front? Do I put in back?
That's why, and design wise, that would be very hard.
But to answer Cynthia's question,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
they have to be
ways,
more.
yeah.
Cynthia, you
But
asked a
it's not
good question.
paper.
This, I'm thinking. Amber, you're a rep on this. If you wanna. Converse and and talk, that's fine. But I actually think that it's up to you and it's up to us in this committee. I don't wanna necessarily say, now we're gonna go to an extra layer. I'd rather keep the decision-making here in this committee, because that's what you signed up for. And I
Of
think
course.
beyond the committee, that's like you're in. And this is what you're up for. But Amber, I definitely, like, all your feedback is great. And it's valued. I think our issue on execution, if we could get, are you guys okay with a lightened up, cleaned up version of the basic concept? That we then put out, sort of to float out to people with the write-up saying yes and no, thoughts, not yes and no, but just thoughts.
How you can imagine.
And we have to have the write-up, though.
Yeah, absolutely, so we'll so we'll work on that, but you're okay on this concept to show this,
The procedure,
because we'll get that feedback, and then once we get that feedback, then we'll discuss the issue of execution. And I think, yes, it's too dark, we all know that, we can troubleshoot this forever.
Yeah.
But is this enough of a concept that we want to float it? It's a canoe, so that's why it's a pond.
One of the difficult things in doing this is that we can only talk about it every 3 months on edits. Right? Like, cause we're not allowed to really email.
No, I don't. No, you can't.
So that's a little troublesome. Cause you could make it lighter, or I can make it lighter,
But
and you
I
can make it
don't think
lighter,
that
and then it
that's
takes
gonna
3
be what
months to get
people
the.
focus on.
Right.
That is not what their focus is going to be.
say, we like the old one.
Correct, that's what they're going to focus on. What is the meaning of this? Why is this what we're doing?
And that's
How
where
does that
the,
represent Needham? Those are gonna be,
and that's where the write-up will be really important, and do we need to review as a committee the write?
Kate was gonna bring it to the committee, yeah, so.
Can you get on Kate?
Could we meet more frequently than
Oh,
once a month?
Yes, yeah, summer.
Yeah. And if we have something that we need to review.
Okay.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Do we wanna? What I was thinking,
Oh,
this, I mean, I know it's.
so but David had some thoughts, your frustrations with this, right?
Oh, well, just. Trying to get where we're gonna get.
Okay.
I think of it. So one of the ideas I had, once we were going too far down the road here, is like, okay, what's Needham building? And can this building look like it's something historic? Because then it actually kind of matches up with the logo. So when you look at something, so I went and was AIing a couple of things. What historic photos from the, I don't have a lot here,
That's a good picture.
but just sort of an idea of. Can I get a seal like that? Strip it down even more and just sort of like, hey, here's town hall in some sort of. Representation.
Right.
To me, that at least says, hey, it's Needham, and the other part is like, hey, it kind of. In some ways goes with the logo.
Yes.
And we can kind of clean that out a little bit more, and that would be. Such a layup. As
Oh,
far
can you
as-
show this, Amber, can you see?
Oh,
Hold on, Amber, we'll get you.
Can I just say, I think, I just saw it as it was passing by me, I think it's beautiful, but I just want everybody to remember our first meeting, what the instructions were.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nobel.
Yeah.
No.
yeah, I think that we have a love.
And now we have it on the logo and
Yeah.
the seal. So this is where some revision pricing might,
well, that's,
Have-
again, that's
have
what
come up.
I'm just throwing it out there.
but I think that's awesome. I don't know how Amber
I
feels about that.
really like the ink 1711. I think it makes,
Like the third font.
no, I like the,
Right.
that the 2 lines?
It's great.
I think we just threw out it by doing this. We have the lovely branding, but by doing this, we're not doing any of the things that we said we wanted to do for, a year and a half.
Yeah,
Well, we also found a lot of those things very difficult to
Very difficult.
Well, we investigate
represent.
it.
right.
Do you have any
You know,
pictures?
visually, like community.
But,
But, you know, then the other possibility, if you did go for the tree in the, the tree in the house thing, would be the Fuller House, which is 1707, which is.
Yeah.
close to Charlie.
But, so, City of Newton redid their town seal with a, in all respect to me, but comically bad rendering of City Hall. This is a really good rendering of Town Hall, but I remember the debate in Newton, one that some of the city councils were like, as a matter of principle, I would not vote for this because City Hall is not the only thing that Newton is about. And they were very like, so Town Hall is great, but like, I kind of feel like Needham is more than just this Town Hall. It's like, it's other things. And that's why I think we fell to the Charles River. It's like, that wraps around us. That's, it's sort of a natural resource. It's great. Town Hall is government and it's great.
Right, if
that's
you want to see
what
the
it
town
is.
hall, you go there, you drive by.
There is.
This is, has a bit of history in it.
The thing about this though, is that Needham, obviously, everybody here knows, is throwing a lot of money, right, has recently and is continuing to do so, to making this the center of Needham. Right? With the green and trying to get that to be a communal space for the town. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And it is. When you come into town, when you come to buy a house, chances are at some point you're gonna drive by
Right.
that building.
So we have the branding and we
And
have
God, I
the.
could tear that.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
think
think we already have it.
it's well realized smashing job. But I feel like, I think what we worked on to get, I think what we have created thus far is basically more linked to what the existing seal is. And I think that speaks more to more people. Less picture.
No, well, yeah, like I said, I was just trying to like.
Right.
Because I went in, I've been doing more research on this, because I'm actually looking to do more. More projects like this, because I think this turned out so well, it's regular branding. And someone did something for the town of Andover, and I could probably find it. The agency that worked on the final thing gave, here's a sample of other town seals, literally like 50, they went nuts. But you could really see where it fits in with stuff, and you can, that doesn't work, that works, but you can see what works better and what doesn't, and even subject matter, because I think it does get, it's tough. A lot of it's this fanciful, here's an arm holding a hatchet, here's a arm holding a torch, and then they're crossed like this. It's kind of really weird stuff going on, and then there's very much like
Proud Boys.
here's town hall, here's, it's very simplified.
Right.
So it's a big mix of things, that's why I was looking at, again, just trying to get this stripped down a little bit more, so there's blacker blacks and whiter white, so it's a little, it's higher contrast without looking cartoony. And that's, if anything, that's the style I like, type of thing. And if the canoe is a little like, just kind of where the clouds are there, it's a little bit more
Sparse.
it's bringing that into the canoeist. I think that could work. That's why I was gonna ask you, just, it's closer, and I just thought, I just wanted to sort of show like the town hall, and even there, like, if we wanted to make it look older, throw a horse and buggy in front or something. Just, because I don't want to lose the history. I don't want it to look.
So this is,
Pigs running around.
this is built in
That's what-
1911.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, 1902.
See, it's not even right.
Yeah, it's only a little over.
That's
70 years.
compared with 11,000 years or more of the indigenous people being on the land that we now call Needham.
I think part of the problem is that we don't really have the same, if I look at my ultimate favorite town seal is Lowell. which has factories belching smoke. Yeah, so, yeah, the smoke leads into a cornucopia at the top. It's got a train, it's got a canal. I mean, it really is just, it's got bales of cotton, it's just. It's got a lot of gas, right? Very hefty. And across this, art is the handmade of human good. Because essentially.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask that, do we
But
have?
you have sort of like you say, Lowell, you say, oh, Mills. When you say Needham, do you say?
Right.
And
Well,
that's
we're doing
part of the
which
problem
one?
is that we're
It
trying
was
to,
Mills, and before that it was pigs, right? That was their thing, and then.
I guess I'm wondering who's the new person.
do the hitters.
From watching on the sides, my sense was that it's been 2 years of tough conversation to land on the concepts.
Oh, we didn't start
You're
working on
right.
that until after the logo.
Right.
The
So
logo-
okay.
the logo was the
Oh.
first, yeah.
Okay,
We
That
didn't
was
even
2 years
start
of tough
looking at.
conversation.
okay. I just, okay, I guess this is a little bit of a pivot to my understanding. I thought we were like at a concept that we were ready to share with the public.
No.
I think we are, yes. Yes. I kind of, this feels like a complete, not a U-turn, but I think we're at a point where we're saying, let's try the concept we have. And then it's like, oh, well,
Well, the other, I think if you put both of these up, the public would probably go for the Bills. Just
Of course.
it's familiar and all that
Yes.
other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think by showing the newest first, see how that flies, and if it blows up in our face, we have this as a potential backup.
But you're showing it against the old piece.
Right,
Yeah.
Yes,
they're
yeah.
compared, yeah.
I agree.
Thank you, yes,
Old seal.
Right.
Existing seal.
existing.
Right.
Correct.
All right, it is 5 o'clock. We're gonna leave this where we're not spending money, but we are going to get a clean version. Courtesy.
We're both gonna. do it.
So I have a quick question. The one that has the town hall.
Yeah.
Is that now an option just because it's and forgive me if I'm wrong, I don't know if I missed something, but that's the first time
No.
I'm seeing that one. So are these two gonna be posed to
No,
the public?
no.
Okay.
I just wanted to throw it out there as another
option.
concept.
It's in, all right,
Without.
it's in David's bullpen.
If we want something that's very doable and people are familiar with, I think that we have put aside the larger challenge that we set ourselves. That was laid out January of 2024 by Kate.
Which you could just done a trade. That was that meeting. Okay, so we are going to get a cleanup version of the concept we have consensus on. With that, we're gonna show it. And if only some like. Who's our communications? Oh, Amy. So we're gonna put the letter, the explanation, Q&A, whatever it works with the existing seal and the proposed draft.
For the committee to
To look
review.
at.
For a committee to look at, and then this will be ultimately presented to the town, like, we're doing this thing, we're not doing survey, yeah. Survey.
No, feedback.
Feedback.
Do we want to set a next meeting date
Yes.
before we leave here?
Yes, and that we have to approve the write-up to go with the two.
Well, otherwise, we're without a deadline.
That's-
Just putting yourself on a deadline versus someone else who's not in the room, but we will.
When I worked in textbooks, in the design department, they'd saying this, we designed by the square inch. And it was so true, they'd hold textbook with it. It is at a crawling pace, it matters, it's deliberate, pain in the neck, but it's worth it. So, sorry y'all going through it. But we designed by the square inch.
But you have to have the concept.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, that's part of the design. Now we have to, all right, so what works for you guys? Kate, you're booked until November.
Yeah,
He's always here though, so.
is it select board tonight?
We usually meet on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
So
At 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Seven?
The 7th enough time.
October?
If I can. We can have a hard deadline of just a couple of weeks before then. I mean, do you think that you can make the changes that we talked about within the next 2 weeks?
I made that in 2 days.
Okay,
I need mine in a-
What about Katie
mine-
and Paige?
I'll take care of it.
That might be the.
I will have a
I
draft.
cannot contribute to that right now.
I will have a draft for everybody for the next meeting. So do we want to say Tuesday, October 7th?
October 7th at
At
4
4 p.m.
o'clock.
Knowing that you might have to do, if you don't have everything.
No, everything will be done. I guarantee you.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
Amber, does that work? for you?
Amy's.
Thank you.
All right, we got, I would,
Amber, does that work for you?
Yes, thank you.
I
July.
would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second?
Second.
All right, second. All right, we have to roll call. David Lindy.
Yes.
Oh, you're not, Marshall Davis.
Yes.
Gloria Grace.
Yes.
Katie King.
Yes.
Topher Clark.
Yes.
Cynthia Gannett.
Here.
Amber Allen.
Yes, here.
Louise Miller.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
And Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Is it possible to get this room?
Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Amber might come